Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? Welcome. I am doing a full glam look with y'all and I'm trying out the Mary Jane palette from Milk Cosmetics for the first time because I purchased it recently and I just thought it'd be fun to do a get ready with me, chill vibes, but really focused on the makeup, the glam, and as you guys can see, elephant in the room, my hair's pretty different. I cut it much shorter. I did a blonde kind of balayage moment. I found a stylist in my area and his work was so beautiful that I kind of just sat down and I was like, whatever you think is gonna look good, I trust you. And this is what we did. So I don't know if you guys are gonna like it or not. It's definitely pretty different, but I have been dying to just sit down and do a full glam with the new hair and just feel the whole new vibe. So let's jump right on in. So I'm gonna start off with my face just because that's what I like to do typically. I already added a little bit of moisturizer and I made a pretty grave mistake because I have this like little pimple on my nose that has been healing, and at this point it was pretty much like a scabbed, dry, just bump, and I thought that it was just dry skin and that it was all the way healed, so I scratched off the dry skin and it just started bleeding, and that's what's happening now. So we've got some open skin, yay, shout out to me. But I feel like we can still do very, very flawless makeup. I feel like I haven't been this excited to do my makeup since the last time I filmed a video, actually. So I went ahead and pulled out some of my favorite products. I'm gonna start off with the Pat McGrath Labs foundation just because it's so beautiful on the skin. Really, I swear y'all, every time I start filming a video, my cats are like, now feels like a good time to make noise. And then I'm also gonna mix in some of the Auric Glow Lust in the shade Morganite just for a little extra dew, which you don't necessarily need with this foundation. I mean, I guess technically you don't need it with any foundation, but I just really like the combo. And I'm honestly not even going with that much product. I just did like half a pump. I said like pumped, like I'm playing football here. Half a pump of each. Just gonna dot that on my skin. I did face masks with my little sister and they were some random brand. I don't know, I've never heard of it, but she really wanted to do it, so I was about it. I was like, yeah, sure. It was like a unicorn mask. It was like a unicorn mask, and now my face is just breaking out so much, so that's fun. Just gonna go ahead and blend that in. Isn't that so pretty? Like, what a beautiful finish. Obsessed. So now let's go into some concealer, and by some concealer, I mean 3 different concealers because I'm bougie and also I have a corrector. So I am so happy with the Rem Beauty concealer in the shade Fair 6N because I bought it for spot concealing and it is genuinely the best shade match I've ever had for my skin. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell as much right now because I'm applying it after already applying foundation, but I use this by itself all the time when I just have something I want to conceal, and I barely even have to blend it in. It just blends into my skin. Like, it is the perfect shade. You know when you like go to spot conceal and you don't have a bunch of makeup on and it just like sticks out? This does not do that at all. And I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting that from Ariana. I was not. What I'm kind of doing right now is just tapping the concealer in to spots where I want it to be, but I'm not actually really blending it in because honestly, the best trick with concealer, the way to get the most coverage is to just let it sit for a second because that's the trick. Honestly, there's no better way. I'm gonna go into the Becca or the Becca times Smashbox if you wanna be correct. The corrector. Oh wait, that was kind of funny, but I didn't mean to do that. Just correcting underneath my eyes real quick. I feel like it just got dark in here. The sun just went away. Just doing a light layer. Don't want to do too much, but trying to look like I've been sleeping 8 hours every night, which I have not. The next concealer we're going in with is the Rose Inc concealer in the shade LX010, and I'm gonna use this for my under eyes mostly. I just love the glow that it gives. It's so pretty. So I'm just going in right there. I'm not really gonna put it anywhere else. And then lastly, just because this is very, very close to my skin tone, I've really been enjoying going in with the NARS Chantilly concealer, which is just a little bit lighter than my skin tone, and adding a highlight right here on the inner corner. Again, just going in with a little bit. It gives me that like really pretty bright under eye without it being a triangle, and it's kind of just, it's a more specific spot, so it's more focused, and I just think it's really nice. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm not really, because it's kind of a bougie like step in my makeup routine. If you think of all of 3 of my concealers together, what is that? That's like over $100. What the hell? Oh no, I forgot, y'all. Dang it. I actually picked up the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. This is the shade, it says light medium. I don't know about that. Or maybe that's saying light medium coverage. I'm assuming right here, because the shade is actually 01 Cool Ivory, and it looked really pale. I feel like when I had this before, it was not this light, but my little sister, my 12-year-old little sister recommended this. She said that she really likes it. And that is the concealer she uses, and we were like already there at the aisle, and I saw the shade and I was like, you know what, I may as well try it. So I was gonna test that out today, but I already forgot. It's literally right in front of me and I already forgot. So anyways, just blending that in. You can't convince me that this face routine is not flawless. I'll probably just skip past this part for y'all because you've seen me do my brows over and over again, and I literally use the same product and do the same thing every single time. So I'll be right back. I just realized I was chatting on my merry little way and that I forgot to turn the camera back on. So I did go ahead and just powder a little tiny bit over that spot. I'm pretty happy with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm using the Kosas bronzer just to add a little bit of extra definition to my skin. I haven't, I have not been bronzing recently. Look at this little baby. He doesn't even want me. He's sitting on me, but really he just wants to play, right? I have not been bronzing recently. I feel like because my hair is a little bit lighter, I want to add some extra definition to my skin when I do my makeup and just add a little bit more contrast so that everything's not so like one tone, just because it's like light hair. I'm very pale. I don't know. I feel like I need bronzer now. Not that I need bronzer, because I'm not gonna apply bronzer when I'm not wearing makeup, but it's doing more for me than before, basically. I'm just gonna go in with my blush real quick too, because like I'm here, I may as well. I've already got a brush in my hand. So I'm gonna use the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow blush. It's such a pretty pink. I just can't help but reach for it, especially if I do anything cool toned, which I know I'm gonna do today. How could I not use this blush? It's just so pretty. It's just almost comical to me how this blush is so bright, so vibrant, like it looks like a lot, but it is probably one of the most natural blushes on me and on my skin tone. And I think it's just because like it's so close to how I genuinely look when I'm blushing. As much as I love an orange blush, I do not blush orange. So now let's go into eyes, and I'm so excited to be playing with the Mary Jane palette. It's kind of funny because when I purchased this, I actually didn't remember that I purchased it because I got it at the same time as I grabbed all of the Melt blushes. And I remember that I put this in my cart and then I took it out and then I put it back in. And for some reason, I just thought that I ended up not purchasing it. And then when the box arrived and I opened it and I saw this palette, I was like, oh, I totally forgot I bought that. And I was extra excited because it looks so beautiful. Honestly, I've always thought it was beautiful, like from the very first time that I saw it, but then I was like, I don't know, should I buy it? Should I not buy it? And I just never did. It's actually not as like cool toned as I thought. There's definitely more like warm crunchiness happening. And then there's like a mixture of cool toned in there as well, like just from looking at the palette. But I don't know, I thought we could just do some swatches real quick because I'm honestly dying to stick my fingers in these shadows. Okay, so real quick, here is a little up close look at the palette. It is beautiful. I just realized I didn't take any pictures of this. Like, I feel like I need one, like maybe for Instagram real quick. Is this even cute? A cute background? Not really, but the portrait mode on, like, new iPhone literally makes everything look beautiful. Back to swatches. I'm gonna start off with this shade right here called Mary Jane, which honestly feels a little bit rougher than I expected, but it's kind of like a pretty soft gold. We've got Gasper, which is a really nice grungy greeny brown, and honestly that was so pigmented I barely even touched it. We have Sweet Lucy, which is a chunky kind of bronzy shade. Okay, that's very chunky, but also very beautiful. Like, okay. We have Bamba, which is a kind of charcoaly gray, deeper shimmer. We have Sinsemia. I don't know that I'm pronouncing any of these names right. I'm pretty sure they're all strains of weed. So I don't know, but it's a beautiful, like kind of cool toned brown, super, super pretty. We have Santa Maria, which is another kind of deeper, shimmery, charcoaly shade. This one's just a little bit more shiny than the last one. It's a very grungy palette. We have Rubia, which is a soft brown kind of mid-tone shade, super, super smooth. We've got Bow, which is a bronzy mid-tone shade, not super shiny. I have to say, like, I still have one more shimmer to swatch, but I'm not like super crazy about any of the shimmers I've swatched so far. Like, they're pretty, but I kind of like the matte vibes that are going on here more. We've got Mari, which is a really light, soft brown. And then lastly, we have Kali, which is, okay, again, kind of harder pressed. Like, I feel like I'm having to like really press down to get the shade to come up. Feels like a hard cream almost, like, but in like the worst way. I don't know. But that's kind of like a silvery shade, but it's not super silver. The mattes are so smooth in this palette. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay. I mean, honestly, I do like it. I just feel like swatched out, it is so much less gray than I thought it was. There's a lot more brown than gray here. I don't know why. Like, it's so hard to get like just that perfect cool tone palette, but I think we can definitely still do a really cute look. I'm kind of wanting to go like kind of like a soft, really pretty glam, like just like something like natural but like sexy at the same time. So I feel like we can get that with this palette for sure. Before I forget, here are the swatches up close. I'm gonna start off with this shade right here called Mari as my transition shade. Surprise, surprise. Just gonna go ahead and start that off in my outer V. Actually, I feel like it is showing up a little bit deeper on my eyes than I expected. It's swatched very, very light, but just gonna go ahead and start off on my outer V and then go through my entire crease, just in windshield wiper circular motions. And then while I'm at it, I'm also gonna take that shade on a fluffy, small blending brush and just connect the lower lash line kind of to the crease a little bit. Like I said, I want this to be a little bit more smoky. Okay, so I think now I'm gonna go into the next matte shade that's just a little bit deeper, Rubia. Just gonna pop that on my outer V again. I did get just a tiny little bit of fallout, but I'm gonna do basically the same motion, putting down most of the shade and then whatever's left over on my brush going through the crease and also connecting to the lower lash line. I'm probably gonna go back in with the previous brush just because it's kind of doing that thing where it's like blending into zebra stripes. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like it just happens sometimes with certain eyeshadows. And honestly, I used to think it was like shadows that weren't that great of quality, but sometimes they blend really well. They just start out as zebra stripes like that. Like, it's pretty good. I love how smooth these mattes are. Like, just when I apply them, I feel like they look so good. These would be really good for like an all matte smoky eye. That's not quite my vibe today, but I feel like they are the kind of formula that just looks smooth on the lid. Because sometimes I feel like shadows look really pretty blended through your crease, but then when you put like the matte shade all over the lid, it looks chalky, or it just doesn't look its best. It doesn't always work for both purposes, but these seem like they would. I don't know. Is this palette too old for me to even ask if you guys want to see more looks? Does anyone even care? I don't know. I'm also going to grab a flat eyeliner brush and I'm going to go into Sinsemilla, this really nice brown right here, just because I want to add this in, but I don't want it to be like too much. So I'm going to start off and just line about like from my pupil over. Just kind of get a little definition right there and smoking it out. Kind of blending back and forth. I love the Sigma brush specifically because I feel like I can line and then also blend with it. And many flat eyeliner brushes are very, very scratchy, or there's no way you could blend with them. And this is just so soft. It works perfect. And then once I kind of have that blended, I might go in with just a little bit more closer. It's gonna go ahead and also line my lower lash line, the outer half, with that shade. And then I'm gonna go into my blendy brush and just blend the lower lash line first. Making sure nothing's too harsh. And then blending over the line here as well. I'm gonna start off with the shade Cali, and I'm gonna grab that on a little bit more of a firm brush, just because, like I said, it didn't want to pick up the absolute best with my finger, but I feel like it's picking up okay with a brush. I'm gonna pop that on my inner corner first. That's pretty. Okay, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's picking up really well with this brush. On my finger, not so much. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more and start that off on the inner half of the eye. It's very sparkly. I almost wonder, maybe I should spray it. Maybe it'll do a little bit of a better, like more opaque job. It does look beautiful on the inner corner, and I could see using it by itself, no spray necessary. But I think for the lid, I might need just a little something something. All right, so I sprayed it. Just gonna go ahead and add that onto that inner half or so. And then I'm gonna go into another layer that's dry, just because sometimes I really like spraying a layer and then doing a dry layer on top to get more pigmentation. That's pretty, but definitely getting fallout. On the bright side, at least it covered up the mistake I made with the eyeliner on the inner part of my lid. Okay. It's cute. Now we're gonna go ahead and go into this shade right here, Mary Jane, and I'm gonna use that on the portion of the lid that's still empty. Okay, now this one doesn't want to pick up that well with a brush. You have to like really dig the brush in there. I'm just gonna spray my brush just because I don't want to get fallout. Just putting that right here. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. I know I was talking shit, but it's beautiful. Gonna just slightly blend that into that deeper brown at the edge. Just kind of patting, making sure everything is how I want it. I feel like I am missing a little something. I'm gonna go into this shade right here, Bow, on my lower lash line, on like the inner portion. Just because I feel like there's something missing right here. Just a little bit. All right, so for mascara, I'm gonna go into the Essence Lash Princess Volume Mascara. Just gonna do one coat probably. I debated on doing a video like talking about LASHGATE. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the like lashes, TikTok, mascara, scandal that's happening. But honestly, like I can't even scroll through TikTok without getting TikTok after TikTok after TikTok of the same thing. And I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of bored. So I don't know if you guys are feeling the same way. You're just kind of over it. Like the situation is what it is. Said I wasn't gonna talk about it. It upset me a little bit just because I already see a lot of narrative of like all reviewers are lying to you. They're all in it for themselves and they're not telling the truth. And I really hate that narrative because it's just not true. And like there's a lot of people out there who give honest reviews, and maybe you won't like the same products, but that's just personal preference. It's not because they're lying. But then like some people just want to ruin it for everyone else. If there's one thing I'm gonna do is get mascara on my outer corner. Again, another trick. Just wait. Just let it go. Forget about it for a little bit. Don't forget about it completely because I've definitely done that. But just give it a few minutes and then it'll wipe off very easily. So now for highlighter, I think I'm going to go into my Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade Fair, which is broken now. The other day I had it out on my desk. I was doing my makeup. My son walked in. He was like, "Oh, that's pretty. Can I see it?" And then he just immediately dropped it and shattered it. And I like pressed it back in as much as I could. But yeah. Scrubbing a little bit of that on a fluffy brush and throwing on the tops of my cheekbones. I kind of was feeling this because it's a little bit warmer and the blush is a little bit cooler. And I feel like the eyes have kind of a mixture of like warmth and cool tones. So it just feels right. Probably do a little on my nose because I can't help myself. A little right here. And then lastly for lips, I'm going to do the same thing I always do. I'm going to go into the Sigma lip oil in the shade All Heart. Just a nice, juicy, glossy lip. My stomach is growling. And I don't know why, because I just ate. All right, I'm just going in with my blending brush, making sure we get all those mascara flakes. So this is the finished look. I hope you enjoy getting ready with me, doing this full glam moment. I don't know, I'm still getting used to my hair. I think it's cute. The only time I've ever done anything to my hair was when I was in high school. I did semi-permanent dye and made it like one shade darker. And that is it. So having all these highlights, having it look more blonde, it's a lot for me to get used to, but I think I like it. Hopefully no one is mean in the comments. I'm a little sensitive, so maybe let's not. All right, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.